Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. If you could use the words happy and Monday in conjunction, welcome. Welcome to the Monday edition on WTF Nation Radio. I'm your host, Redleg. Tonight, I'll have Mindy Robinson here. Mindy is such a sweetheart. We talked to Mindy at length when we were in the Denver, Colorado area for the Freedom On Festival. And we met her the night before, and then she was, of course, at the festival, and we hung out with her there. And we're going to talk to her tonight, live on the air, coming up in the second hour of the show. And I'm looking forward to it, because Mindy's a lot of fun. Jessica, don't worry, I'm not going to say something like, it would behoove you to... the first time I'd ever heard that word in my life is when I joined the Army. Behoove. What a fucking word that is. I'm going to get right into it. Raptor Mom's running around here somewhere. She'll probably come back and be all, hey, I'm back. I stumbled across an article today that evidently in Canada, at least from the Kensington Police Service, if you are out for the remainder of the year, let me just read the quote. Know that the Kensington Police Service will be out for the remainder of the year looking for those dumb enough to feel they can drink and drive. And when we catch you, and we will catch you, on top of a hefty fine, a criminal charge, and a year's driving suspension, we'll also provide you with a bonus gift of playing the officer's copy of Nickelback in the cruiser on the way to the jail. They have since deleted that Facebook post.
That's harsh.
But I guess a little extra punishment on the way to the jail. I have here now Nickelback placed on the 2013 Rolling Stone survey of the top I think it's the top 10 worst bands of the 90s. And I would like to go over that list with you right now. Like fucking listen, Branko. I hate Nickelback too. McNasty. Some of Nickelback's like earlier stuff was, at least tolerable. But I want to know too. Also, while we're on the topic of Nickelback, how they caught such a bad rap. I mean, the fact that they're terrible aside, how did they end up being like one of the most hated bands ever?
Could it be because like when like their hit songs came out, that's all the radio stations would just play is Nickelback?
I should go grab my guitar and do some Nickelback for you right now.
Oh boy.
We'll do Photograph. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to run down everybody cast your votes for who you think is the worst band of the 90s, according to the Rolling Stone poll that was conducted a few years ago.
Oh, shoot.
Steven says Nickelback's better than the new Metallica. The new Metallica is terrible. I hope you guys had an opportunity to listen to, if not live, at least the podcast of the Music Appreciation Show that I did on Saturday, where I talked about how terrible the new Metallica is. Oof, it's bad. Don't even take my word for it. Don't go listen to the new Metallica. Jonathan says Creed should be on there. I mean, we're talking about 10 bands, the top 10 worst bands of the 90s. All right, I'm gonna start at number 10. The Dave Matthews Band. They suck. I mean, the music's stupid. There's some talent in the band. Okay, there's really one talented dude in the band. It's their drummer.
Yes, I agree.
But I never could do Dave Matthews Band. Number 9, Raptor Mom. Any guesses? And we're not limiting this to just like rock bands.
Number 9, New Kids on the Block.
No, Ace of Base is number 9 from 1993. You cruised around in your Toyota Corolla and listened to All That She Wants when you were a kid in 93.
think I was in.
What was the other one?
Grade.
The Sign.
I Saw the Sign or whatever it was.
And Beautiful Life. Jesus. Number 8. Spin Doctors.
Oh, I haven't heard them in a while. No wonder why.
Well, Two Princes and Little Miss Can't Be Wrong, and then what else? You got nothing, right? Nobody knows any other. Yeah. This is based on a reader poll, by the way. Number 7, Bush.
Oh, yes.
One of the 7th worst band of the 90s. What happened to Gavin Rossdale? Gavin Rossdale is a better actor than, well, I mean, I liked him in, did he play the devil in, the Constantine? Wasn't that Gavin Rossdale?
I couldn't tell you, honestly.
But they had some decent songs. Number 6, Hootie and the Motherfucking Blowfish. All I want to be with you. Yeah, Hootie. Darius Rucker has turned into a country singer, I guess. But Hootie kind of blasted onto the scene in '94, and then just as quickly as they appeared, they were gone. I don't know about Hootie and the Blowfish. It's a little too mainstreamy. This one, a lot of people are kind of polarized by this band, and Stephanie says sing without vowels. That's kind of how it is, right? It's all vowels is what it is, I think. A-I-O-U. Number 5, Nirvana. I hate Nirvana. And I like the music that came out of Seattle. I'm a big time Soundgarden fan. I like Pearl Jam's first album anyway. Alice in Chains. I love Alice in Chains. There's not a bad song I've ever heard from Alice in Chains, but Nirvana and Kurt Cobain, he seemed to think that he invented grunge music and then all the rest of it was fake and phony. I just never really liked Nirvana that much.
I always felt like, it went to their heads.
So they're number 5 on this list of the 10 worst bands of the 90s. Number 4. Look at these chicks.
Dixie Chicks?
Hanson.
Oh,
those aren't chicks.
Yeah. Bop.
Yeah. Somebody's in the Facebook live chat said something about New Kids on the Block. They're not a 90s band. They were from the 80s.
Late 80s.
Yeah, late 80s. Hanson. Enough said. Number 3. You gotta guess about number 3. We're in the top 3 now. So
We're in the top 3.
We're in the top 3.
Presidents of the United States?
No, they're not on the list. Presidents of the United States of America.
Oh wow.
Another flash in the pan. That shit was that was just a goof, I think. I couldn't take any of their stuff seriously.
Like their song Peaches.
I had to turn it off.
Like the Apple Pen song.
Oh my God. Oh yeah. I have a pen. I wish I had a pen on my desk.
Hey, by the way, I found my pen.
I would do the Apple Pen. All I have on my desk is this. The goat. Number 3, the 3rd worst band of the 90s, Limp Bizkit. Do you know how big Limp Bizkit was? Huge overseas. They did their thing. Fred Durst, he has a speech impediment. I'm not making fun of people with speech impediments. I just find it hilarious that somebody who is supposed to be a vocalist, rapper of sorts would have a lisp. Fred fucking Durst. They were huge overseas. They did their thing here for a while. Everybody kind of got fed up with it, and I guess they're the 3rd worst band of the 90s. All right, so we've got number 2 and number 1 remaining. Anybody want to guess here? Who is the 2nd worst band of the 90s?
Creed.
Nickelback.
Wait, is it on the list twice?
Nickelback is the 2nd worst band of the 90s.
Oh, okay. I thought you already said that.
No, we hadn't named them yet.
Gotcha.
They were voted the number 2 worst band of the 90s. So that leaves us with one remaining. The worst band of the 90s according to a 2013 Rolling Stone reader poll.
Drum roll.
Creed.
Oh,
everybody was
close.
right. Everybody was right. Mike, Stone Temple Pilots, dude, really? Guns N' Roses sucked pretty bad. Yeah, but they're not a 90s band, Cos. The Offspring, I hate The Offspring too, Mike. A lot of good ones coming up here. So if you've listened to the show before, or if you listened to Saturday, where I said it again, I am I guess, closet Creed fan. But, and I feel like this is deja vu. I'm not a Scott Stapp fan. I am a Mark Tremonti and the rest of the guys fan. I hate Scott Stapp. What a dick. And I talked about this on Saturday too. My band played with. We shared a bill with a band that had opened for Creed one time, and they said that he was Scott Stapp's a raging tool. He has that whole dick vibe about him too. Like he's a total dickweed. The fuck you, Scott Stapp, if you're listening, eat a dick. Some of these, ICP, I don't even consider them a band. Like I can't take them seriously. Some of these, oh, and somebody made the comment when I talked about Scott Stapp being a dick. Somebody made the comment that he must really be a dick in an industry filled with prima donnas. He is. He's a dick. You know who else is a dick? The guys from Earshot. Opened for them one time at the Hard Rock in Memphis, and they wouldn't talk to us. Like they stayed on their bus until it was time for them to play, and then they played. Good total assholes. We also opened for Seether one time. Those guys are from South Africa. They're all really cool. But the guys from Earshot, dickholes, all of them. Get off your bus and come hang out with the opening act. Motherfuckers. Yeah, Matt, they were assholes. I don't know if they were having a bad night or just didn't like Memphis or what, but Jesus. Anthony wants to know what's my band. My band ceased to exist that band ceased to exist in 2003. And I got involved in another project that went for a couple of years, but I haven't played with a working band since 2005. Do I have a top 10 list of what, Branko? Like favorite bands or bands that I hate that suck? I'll put a list together for you. How about that? Or maybe we'll take we'll do our own poll.
There you go.
Raptor Mom, make a note.
All right.
I need to do a poll.
Battle of the bands.
No, I just want to do a poll of like the fucking 10 worst bands ever in history. We'll run it. It's probably going to have to run for like a month to get enough responses to tally everything up.
Okay.
And then we'll do it live on the air. Steve, I do like Chevelle. It's not my favorite band, but I really like Chevelle. Good one. Savage Garden, terrible, Mike. Oh my God. There was a lot of good music in the 90s. There was a lot of bad music in the 90s. But this stuff that's on the radio now is completely unlistenable. I have to turn it off. You know what I listen to in the car to and from work? NPR. I listen to the morning edition on the way to work and then All Things Considered on the way home. Because there's no music on that. If I listen to music, it's on my iPod. Coldplay. See, Mike's naming all these terrible fucking bands. Coldplay. Shaman's Harvest is pretty good, Anthony. Thoughts on Slipknot? There's a lot of Slipknot that I dig, but it's not something I can sit and listen to all the time. Deftones. Love the Deftones, Jordan. I really do. As a matter of fact, my band did some Nickelback. Gina just popped in. Nickelback. Yeah, we talked about Nickelback. My band did a couple of Deftones covers. Maybe I'll play them for you one of these days. Stone Sour's good, yeah. Spine Shank. Oh, I remember listening to Spine Shank. Remember? I remember. So yeah, Disturbed. I can take them or leave them. Same thing with Godsmack. Let me move on to the next topic. Wow, man, I didn't. You know what? All of you who are commenting with all this musical knowledge and opinions would have loved the Saturday show. The Saturday Music Appreciation show that I did. Rocky, Alice in Chains, one of my top 5 favorite bands ever. What was I saying? Oh, you would have liked my Saturday Music Appreciation show. And I don't do them often. But when I do, I play music and I talk about music. There's a podcast. If you guys want to go listen, it's preserved for posterity. iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and at WTFNationRadio.com. Podcasts for days. Joshua, I'm going to talk about Joshua Padilla. I'm going to talk about that tonight. Got it. Checking the block here with the music stuff. I like Rush, Austin. As a matter of fact, that was the last band that I played on Music Appreciation. Let's keep on keeping on here. Did you see where the Jeep that was carrying Fidel Castro's remains broke down and had to be pushed?
Oh, yeah, we talked about that today during Liquid Lunch.
How appropriate. What a testament to
Castro and...
To the socialist model not working. Just ragged piece of shit Soviet Jeep knockoff.
They had to push it.
Broke down. They had to push it down the street.
Great.
Yeah. Poetic justice. Suck it, Castro. It says here, Fox News reported the Russian-made Jeep ferrying Castro's ashes broke down and needed to be pushed on Saturday en route to the late leader's final resting place. The breakdown of the Jeep in the midst of adoring crowds chanting "Long live Fidel" was symbolic of the dual nature of Castro's Cuba. While his legacy inspires fierce adulation by many of the nation's citizens, others continue to grumble about Cuba's autocratic government, inefficient bureaucracy, and stagnant economy. And it's not going to get any better until they change their ways over there.
Oh, of course not. Like, I brought up the fact, because we were also talking about all the assassination attempts on Castro, and it was like 630 some odd attempts. And then I guess the article Pi was reading was about how the CIA kind of hired third parties to carry out the assassinations. And we went on about like how they did tried the exploding cigar and other like dumb, really like what you would see on movies.
Right.
And I just kind of was thinking like, yeah, well, what were they going to do once they, finally succeeded in killing Castro? Like he's got another guy, lined up. So it doesn't matter. It's kind of like the Taliban and ISIS and Al-Qaeda, they go on the news saying, hey, we killed the top operative of Al-Qaeda. And you're just like, wait a minute, it's like fucking whack-a-mole. You kill one and another fucking motherfucker just pops right back up and is like in charge. So,
Jorge wants me to talk about Pizzagate. I don't want to talk about Pizzagate tonight. I could touch on it briefly. It's essentially a reference to the fake news conspiracy that caused a gunman to go into the Comet ping pong in D.C. armed with a long gun and pop off a few rounds.
What?
Well, it's basically a testament to the gullibility of people who get their information from social media.
You know
social
what? It cracks
media.
me up. They're like, now all of a sudden this fake news is an issue
Yeah, fake
when
news.
it's been an issue for I don't know how many
Well, I mean,
years.
there's fake news, like there's satire, and then there's fake news.
Well, I know.
But there are people who believe that both are are real. They're not. Pat says CNN is fake news. Maybe he wants to know if I liked anything like Sugar Cult, Jimmy Eat World, Less Than Jake. Nope. Didn't like Lit. Didn't like Real Big Fish. Didn't like Rancid. Didn't like Jimmy Eat World. Didn't like any of that. Sorry. I didn't like the 90s alt pop rock type stuff much. This article, I thought, I don't really know how to feel about this. In Fort Lauderdale, Florida, a pileup of parking tickets on a car led a woman to discover a dead man inside. Basically, the gist of the story here is that this dude was dead in his car, but I guess because he hadn't fed the meter because he was, dead, the meter maids kept writing him parking tickets while he's in the car dead. The story says on November 15th, a woman parked near a car with several tickets on the windshield, and when she investigated, she found a man slumped over dead in the driver's seat. The man had been issued 5 parking tickets by 4 different parking officers over the course of 4 days. Common sense would say you've got all these tickets on this car. You should have checked to see what was going on, the woman said. Walter Shaw, who runs an art gallery near where the man was found, agrees with the woman. He says there were flies buzzing around. All they had to do was, pay attention, he said. The man's family said that he'd been in poor health. He was 62 years old, and he hadn't been seen in days, so died probably of natural causes, and then got a shitload of parking tickets. The city of Fort Lauderdale says the tickets are being dismissed. Oh, thanks. Thank you, Fort Lauderdale. City of Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, obviously them not noticing, a dude dead in his car that's been sitting there for 4 days. Like, why did the family, knowing that this gentleman was in poor health, they didn't even, call their local police department to put out a missing persons report?
Well, I don't think you, Raptor Mom, I'm not sure. A lot of people aren't aware of how missing persons works.
Really works? Okay.
But I can speak to this as a former law enforcement officer. Anytime you have a missing persons report involving a juvenile, it gets entered into NCIC immediately, and a bolo is put out. With adults, however, with those aged 18 and up, it works a little differently. It has to be developed by investigators to be an actual missing persons, because I could vanish right now. I could just walk away from everything. But because I am nobody's responsibility, so to speak, I'm just gone. And the police, knowing that if there's not any foul play suspected and then I left of my own volition, are not going to use any of their resources to find me. Because there are times when I would just like to vanish for a while. So, this guy, could the cops have done a welfare check at his last known location? Yeah, maybe. What really blows me away about this situation is, how do you write a fucking ticket to somebody's illegally parked vehicle and put it on the windshield and not see the person inside the goddamn vehicle?
That was the main thing that popped in my mind too.
If you're gonna write somebody a parking citation and they're sitting in the vehicle, you tap on the window and you hand it to them. Are you so engrossed in your work of raising revenue for the city? Let's face it, that's what parking tickets are. Are you so engrossed in your work of raising revenue for the city that you don't notice there's a dead man in the car that you wrote a ticket to yesterday? Somebody should be punished for this, for their gross negligence.
I think
I was going to say
people.
malfeasance. I'm not sure that's an actual word, though. It seems I've heard the word somewhere before. Andrew says cops avoid eye contact when giving you a parking ticket while you're still at the wheel. I didn't write parking tickets as a cop, but I always made sure that I made contact with anybody that I was dealing with. Eye contact and, sometimes other types of contact, depending on how things were going. Full contact. It happens. Speaking of cops, this one, this is a potential powder keg, I think. The Walter Scott shooting debacle.
Oh, yes.
Today, the judge declared a mistrial.
On what grounds?
The jury hung jury. It's a mistrial.
Oh, it's kind of like how the trial of Ray Tensing in Cincinnati was a hung jury.
A judge declared a mistrial this afternoon in the fatal shooting of an unarmed black man at the hands of a South Carolina former patrolman after the jury said they could not come to a unanimous verdict. I just read this from NBC News, and here is what I blame the media for a lot of times. That phrase, the fatal shooting of an unarmed black man, is inflammatory. Why can't we just say fatal shooting of an unarmed man or fatal shooting of a man? Okay, he was unarmed. Yeah, we get it. And he was black. Okay. Why repeatedly bring race into it? That's irresponsible on part of the media. And if I may get on my soapbox for a moment, this administration, the current administration, the Obama administration, is just as irresponsible and has done more to divide this country along racial lines than any that has come before them. Hi, Mrs. Redleg. Mrs. Redleg just came in. How you doing? What are you doing? Oh. So, anyways, I'll go ahead with the article here, or touch on the high points. There was one juror who would not. Yeah, there was a statement here by this juror wrote to the court, I cannot in good conscience consider a guilty verdict against Michael Slager. This is in a separate article. The separate article, also from NBC News, says, the quote, I cannot in good conscience consider a guilty verdict against Michael Slager. And then NBC News goes on to say, a white former patrolman who pulled over Walter Scott in North Charleston and ended up shooting him as a bystander recorded the incident on video. Again, NBC News, mainstream media, shame on you for continuing to perpetuate this racial divide. Stop it. Just report the fucking news. Stop. Here we go with the ratings game again. We want to be number one in the ratings. We want more people to get their news from us, so we're going to be as inflammatory as possible and get people all riled up and keep them tuned to NBC so we can show you a bunch of commercials, and then our advertisers will buy more advertising time. Jordan says the media makes everything a racial issue. I agree. It's irresponsible. Donald Trump, not a fan of the media. We'll see how things go with him. Now, I have an opinion about this. I have an opinion about what Michael Slager did to Walter Scott. I think the dude needs to go to jail. The charge they brought against Slager was for murder. The judge allowed the jury to consider a lesser charge of manslaughter. At the very least, this dude is guilty of manslaughter. If you've seen and listen, everybody, for those of you who are new, I'm an ex-cop. I'm pro-cop. I will always give the benefit of the doubt to the police. I've seen this video. This dude needs to go to jail. The suspect fled from him. He was not an immediate threat to the officer or anyone else. This cop shot him 5 times in the back. This dude deserves some jail time for manslaughter at the least. There are more trials forthcoming. This dude's going to be convicted either, he's going to be found guilty either criminally or civilly. It's not over for Michael Slager yet. But that was, and then you can see on the video, the whole reason that his defense was that he felt like the guy was a threat because he disarmed his taser from him. But did the guy, let's pretend for a moment that's true. This guy, Walter Scott, as wrong as he was for fleeing, let's say that he grabbed the taser. He never made a threatening move with it. And I hate the armchair quarterbacks. I loathe the armchair quarterbacks when it comes to police work. But I feel like I'm a little more qualified than the average person to speak on this. This guy was in no life-threatening danger. And the suspect fleeing from him, guess what? I think it's Tennessee versus Garner, the Supreme Court case law that says that you can't shoot somebody in the back just for fleeing. So this cop, Slager, needs to be punished. There was one holdout juror. That's why this thing ended in a mistrial today. The prosecution could come back, pick a new jury, and try this thing all over again. We'll see. It's going to be interesting to see. Meanwhile, the area where this happened, and for those who have an interest in this, in the North Charleston, South Carolina area, kudos to you guys for not burning your fucking town to the ground. The civil unrest is let's let the legal system do its thing. Let's let it run its course. The civil unrest is uncalled for. I've never understood that mindset of I'm unhappy about something, I'm going to go burn my town to the ground. But most of the time, the people that are involved in these riots and looting and stuff are not local. Why do they bust people in to I mean, I guess if you're an enterprising young man and need a new TV, you go to where the nearest riots are and loot. I get it. Seems silly to me to destroy your own shit because you're mad. Yummy. Everybody's going to love this. Everybody loves when I talk about Bradley Manning.
Our favorite person.
Our favorite former dude, I guess. Listen, everybody uses the feminine pronouns when referring to Manning. I don't. Bradley Manning, not Chelsea Manning. And is it politically incorrect of me to say that? Who cares? The ACLU and gay rights groups are lobbying President Barack Obama to commute the prison sentence of a transgender soldier who leaked classified government and military documents. Oh, my God. The ACLU said that the letter, which was co-signed today by more than a dozen civil rights groups, considers Manning's 35-year sentence unprecedented. Really? That's unprecedented? 35-year sentence for disclosing classified government military documents? Really? Attorneys on behalf of Manning, who is imprisoned at Fort Leavenworth, made a similar pitch last month for commutation. Manning was arrested in 2010 and convicted in 2013 in military court of charges related to his leaking of more than 700,000 secret military and State Department documents. Also later filed a transgender prisoner rights lawsuit and has tried to commit suicide at least twice, citing his behind bars treatment. Now, my question to you all, WTF Nation, is What's the real issue here? Why are they lobbying President Barack Obama to commute the prison sentence? Because the ACLU and gay rights groups are the ones who are doing the lobbying. So does the fact that Bradley Manning turned into Chelsea Manning have any bearing on the fact that he leaked almost 750,000 secret military documents? It does not. It was a soldier who leaked classified documents. That's why this motherfucker is in prison.
And I personally think they're not looking at it that way. They just see him as a person of their interest. A person of their interest that, they see this kid in prison who wants a sex change, and they think he was targeted because of that, which we all know that's bullshit. So
yeah. But this is a pet project of the ACLU and these gay rights groups. And listen, I don't want you guys to get the wrong idea. Gay, transgender, whatever your however you identify, whatever your sexual preferences, that's your business. And my personal opinion, it carries no water. It holds no water. It carries no weight. But the issue here is, why is the ACLU and gay rights groups lobbying Barack Obama to commute the prison sentence of this particular person? Because the fact that Bradley Manning is now Chelsea Manning and is transgender has no bearing on the facts of the case. And has tried to commit suicide at least twice, citing his behind bars treatment. Well, yeah, I could imagine prison sucks. Number one, if you're a panty waist like Manning is. Number two, if you're transgender like Manning is. And number three, if you got to do 35 years for betraying your country, for leaking classified documents. So yeah, prison sucks, I'm sure.
And Pi and I have covered Manning, I don't know how many times on our lunch show. I want to say a few weeks ago, probably about a month and a half ago, we talked about how they're going to perform the sex change on Bradley Manning while in prison, which I find asinine because he's in fucking prison. He doesn't have to have it. He doesn't need it. It's not legal. He's not in some sort of life or death situation. And in the article that Pi had presented on the show, he was saying that Bradley Manning went on a hunger strike until he got his sex change. All this kid has to fucking do is have a hunger strike, and they give in. I don't know if it's because they want to look bad upon, because with the media, they love to have their narrative, and they are going to, make whatever up to make, the army or the government look bad. Look how poor they are treating, this piece of shit in prison and not letting him have a sex change, and he's starving. You know what? When my kids tell me that they're not going to fucking eat because they're pissed off at me, okay, fucking starve.
Sweet. Cheaper grocery bill this week.
Exactly.
So, fucking, I get what Pi was talking about. The condition, the gender dysphoria, where you actually have, I guess, cock and balls, but you think you shouldn't because you identify as a chick. I'm not debating that that's an actual legitimate condition, psychological condition. I get it. The human mind is a strange thing, very strange. And, if you psychologically feel like, man, I feel like a woman, giggity. But, yeah, I do read your comments, Brandon. But you're in prison on the taxpayer's dime. If you don't receive, quote unquote, treatment for your gender dysphoria, is that going to affect your physical health? And is it going to affect your mental health to the point that that you become a danger to the other members of the institutional population or the staff? In this case, I say no. So in this case, I don't think that your tax dollars should be going to having Bradley Manning's dick turned inside out and medicine for him to grow boobs.
And here's another thing too. Like, I am not against anybody who wants to change their body, and if they want to be a dude, or if they're a dude and want to be a chick, go for it. If you can pay for the surgery yourself. For me, it is not fair to service members who are in the military who would like to be, given that opportunity, who do have gender dysphoria. And here they're letting this shitbag who fucking betrayed our country to have the sex change. And while you've got, some, Joe or Jane out, here, busting their ass off, a good soldier, a good service member, and they can't be afforded that because, reasons. Like how is that? I mean, yeah, I know it's not fair. It's not, to be done on our tax dollars, but if Joe or Jane wants to go fucking, pay for it out of their own pocket, then let them.
I'll tell you what.
I understand there's, the whole, logistics of it and leave and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, but to me, it's fucked up to let this piece of shit in fucking prison to have that right and not these guys and gals that are, defending our country and busting their asses.
I would like somebody to do this because there's another federally funded institution that has the ability to treat your gender dysphoria and give you a sex change. So I want somebody to walk into the VA hospital, their local VA hospital, and say, "Hey, I think I have gender dysphoria. I would like to be, for you to change my gender." This is a federal organization funded by tax dollars, just like the prisons are, the federal prisons. And see what kind of reaction you get, and then tell them at the VA when they say no, we're not going to give you a sex change, that you're going to starve yourself.
It's fucking childish.
See what happens. Same tax dollars, completely different situation.
Anyways.
Are you mad? Are you mad, bro?
Yes, the thing that really pisses me off is fucking douchebag. Well, I'm not gonna fucking eat. Like, really? Okay, let's give you your sex change.
Starve.
Like,
who cares? Starve.
Exactly.
How much of a temper tantrum do you have to throw to not eat? Because that's what it is. Stamping of feet. I'm going to kill myself in prison.
Honestly, I don't know if I want, if I were to have a sex change, I don't know if I want the government to do it. Look at
there's
the fucking VA right now.
There's that. There is that.
I mean, for Christ's sake, today we talked about how the VA in Oklahoma, I forget what city, for Liquid Lunch, this poor man died from septicemia, and he had maggots in his fucking wound.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to talk about that. We're probably going to run out of time before I can get to it in this hour. But I don't know how much of the story that I read regarding that to believe. Let me see. What other article I've got here to do? Here's one from Lubbock, Texas. Is that close to you? I don't know where Lubbock is.
It's probably 4 or 5 hours from where I'm at.
Luis Carlos Montalvan, a decorated Iraqi war veteran who became a strong critic of the war and wrote about it, has died in El Paso. He was 43. A representative from the El Paso Police Department said Montalvan was found in a hotel room in downtown El Paso on late Friday. A renowned author and speaker was found dead inside a downtown hotel room on Friday night, said a statement. Central Regional Command officers responded to the Indigo Hotel on a welfare check. The officers entered the hotel room and found the body of Luis Montalvan. There were no signs of foul play, and the cause of death is pending investigation by the medical examiner's office. There was nothing readily apparent at the scene to indicate the death was a suicide. Medical examiner's office has not completed a preliminary autopsy report. Montalvan served 17 years in the Army. He did 2 tours in Iraq, received 2 Bronze Stars and the Purple Heart. Tuesday, his service dog was a subject of his book, Until Tuesday, A Wounded Warrior and the Golden Retriever Who Saved Him, which became a New York Times bestseller. Some Army colleagues said Montalvan embellished his account of the incident that led to his Purple Heart. It'd be interesting to see what the cause of death is. 43-year-old former Army officer who wrote a book, but was critical about the war in Iraq and wrote about it also. That's an interesting set of circumstances. Do you have the information about Raptor Mom? I know I'm kind of shifting gears and flying through these articles. Do you have the information about the guy at the VA hospital had septicemia and the maggots? I don't have it readily available.
Yeah. I can pull it up here in a few seconds.
I mean, I can too. Here it is.
Oh, never mind then.
I found it.
Oh
my God.
You can Google.
Troubling revelations are, where'd it go? Troubling revelations are coming out of a VA hospital in Oklahoma City. I read this article this morning. Miles Deering, executive director of the VA Medical Center in Oklahoma in Talina, Oklahoma, said 4 employees have resigned after maggots were discovered in the wound of a 73-year-old veteran who later died of sepsis. Damage control time. Deering said the maggots were found while the patient, Owen Reese Patterson, was still alive and were not the only contributing factor to his death. Well, I mean, that doesn't make me feel a whole lot better. That they found these maggots while this dude was alive. Like I said, damage control. Ultimately, veterans will have to be empowered to be able to have a choice, said Pete Hegseth, a veteran who served in Iraq and Afghanistan. Until they have that choice, they're not treated like customers, and veterans should be customers of world-class service. Ramey Parker, Peterson's son, released the following statement to the Associated Press. During the 21 days I was there, I pled with the medical staff, the senior medical staff, to increase his meds so his bandages could be changed. I was met with a stone wall for much of that time. Hegseth said the incident shows the overhaul needed within the Department of Veterans Affairs, an initiative President-elect Donald Trump is expected to prioritize. We can only hope. It's going to change when the culture changes, and the culture is going to change when people are fired. So there's a lot of potential here for Trump to do right by the veterans. And
there is. I completely agree.
And not allow care in the VA hospitals to. I mean, I understand infections, and I understand that sepsis happens, especially in people who, really young or the elderly or weakened immune systems, or, even in severe cases and perfectly, otherwise healthy people. But for a veteran to go into the VA with a wound and develop sepsis, and for them to find maggots in this dude's wound, that shows me negligence. That shows me improper wound care, and it shows me a total. They just don't care.
Total disregard.
You're not a customer, and that was well worded. You're not a customer. You're at the VA. You're not a patient in the sense that you would be a patient at a private hospital. The government funded organization. And listen, I hate to bash on the VA because, as I've said before, there are a great number of good people who work at the VA, but it's not. It's not these people, and a lot of the veterans that work for the VA that want to do right by other veterans. They're not the ones that can make a substantial change in the system. These changes have got to come from the top. And I can only hope that Donald Trump, after he's inaugurated, can make the VA system a top priority. Al said you can certainly play devil's advocate, but I'm aware of where maggots come from. They're spread by flies. They're fly larvae.
and like Matt brought up, where the gets there when he walks into the city. No, I don't believe they were, because in the article it says this gentleman was in there for 21 days. And if he, when he passed away and they did the autopsy and they examined him, that they've had to have been that those flies laid those eggs before this gentleman died.
No, it says right here in the article, Raptor Mom. It says in the article that they discovered the maggots on this dude while he was alive.
Oh,
they didn't find him after he died. He died from the sepsis. They're saying the executive director of the VA Medical Center at this hospital in Oklahoma says the maggots were found while the patient was still alive. It's poor wound care. Clean this dude up. You can't just cover a wound and then leave it. There's got to be some other treatment involved, like changing the dressing, debriding of the wound, depending on what kind of wound it is. You don't just wrap something up and then walk away from it long enough for fly eggs to hatch into larvae. It's negligent. But the four they have 4 employees who have resigned.
And I brought up earlier, I think the difference between, your privatized hospitals and the VA, and if this were to happen into a privatized hospital, his family could have fucking sued the shit out of the hospital. But they can't do that with the VA. So therefore it's, it kind of just goes out the window. But then again, what this family needs to do, and with any of these cases, and I hope to God these families do, those 4 people that resigned should never be able to practice fucking medicine ever again. I mean, if that was my grandfather that died like that, with that type of care, and he spent his last days like that, I would be marching my ass to the state medical board and demanding for their medical license to be fucking revoked, to never practice medicine again.
Robert says there are medical maggots, but I'm sure this is not the case. I'm aware of that. There are actually treatments where they use maggots to dispose of necrotic tissue and wounds and such. But I'm pretty sure that's not what happened here. Now my nose is itching. Talking about maggots. Disgusting. Steven says the VA left stitches in his neck for 1 year. After numerous complaints, they finally found them and pulled them out. Holy fuck, dude. I always take out my own stitches.
I don't mean to laugh. I was just kind of thinking of Frankenstein.
I always take out my own stitches. I never go back to the doctor and have it done. Fortunately, I haven't had to have that many stitches. So Jonathan says, based on what research he's been able to do, maggots start forming in 5 days. 5 days. So that tells me that there was either no wound care or there was improper wound care for at least 5 days. Probably more, probably longer. What would anybody here with a knowledge of this medical background, what would the reason be? Is there a reason for not changing a dressing on a wound? I can't think of one. You take off the old dressing, you clean the wound as best you can, depending on the circumstances. You put on a new dressing. So there are no reasons that I see for not changing a dressing. I can't think of one. Now again, Michael says budget. Budget. is the reason for not, you can't afford dressings. Oh, Athena says, yes, you're a lazy piece of shit. That's the reason for not changing a dressing. And I don't want people to think that I'm just blindly bashing on the VA. Because the VA does some good. I have yet to have a overly negative experience with the VA. I'm relatively new to the VA medical system in that I've, as a matter of fact, Thursday is my my 1-year checkup. So I have been in the VA system medical system for about a year, roughly. And now I'm 40. I'm really hoping I get the finger in the butt on Thursday. I'm actually considering asking for it. But I have yet to have a overly negative experience in that I didn't get what I wanted or what I felt I needed. They're taking I'm having some issues with my leg, and they're taking their sweet ass time about doing anything about it. I mean, they've done stuff, but I don't feel like they've done enough at a rapid enough pace. That makes sense. Like, they should be moving a little more quickly instead of this being spaced out over months and months and going to podiatry and getting this done, and this don't work, and then I go back and we'll try this, and this doesn't work. I mean, they did an MRI that shows that I got ligament damage and arthritis, so surely there's something they could do. I don't know. I'm no fucking doctor. Yeah, I'd get my Christmas goose early, Josh. Fingers crossed for me getting a finger in the butt. They did give me some pills before my leg. For my leg, they give me meloxicam, which really doesn't do much.
Yeah, it's only an anti-inflammatory.
Yeah, I took one this morning. Whatever. Yeah, Motrin. And I went in there with the they diagnosed me with an ulcer and said, well, now you can't take any more NSAIDs because they're bad for your stomach. So I either have an ulcer or I have a pain in my leg.
Meloxicam is supposed to be like easier on the stomach.
Well, they also gave me some omeprazole. They're just throwing pills at me left and right.
Oh, they help your ulcer there?
What? Oh, yeah, the omeprazole is what the fuck is
antacid?
Prilosec.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how's that? How's your ulcer?
I don't take it like I'm supposed to. But my ulcer feels okay.
There you go.
Yeah. My ulcer feels great. All right, break time. Let's take a break. I'm almost talked out. I need to go shut my stupid mouth for a few minutes. When we come back, we'll have Mindy. Oh yeah, Mindy's going to be here. Mindy Robinson, actress, model, all around super cool chick. Like me some Mindy. We'll talk to her about what she's got going on, and she was in that movie. What's the name of that movie?
Range 15?
Yeah, Range 15.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, she's in Range 15. So we'll have her up here in about 10 minutes. No, not even 10 minutes. More like 8 minutes. No, don't go anywhere. We'll be back right here on WTF Nation Radio.
What's up, guys? This is Matt Best, and you're listening to WTF Nation Radio. So listen the fuck in.
Good evening, boys and girls. This is Tim Kennedy. I'm a Special Forces sniper, a Ranger-qualified Green Beret, a UFC fighter, and your host moving forward for this next hour on WTF Nation Radio. Please listen to us and the shenanigans that we're going to say. We will insult you. There will be racial slurs. We will be sexist. We will offend you. But there will be magic, and a unicorn will be raped. So enjoy the show. Thank you for listening.
Well, doesn't Pi identify as a unicorn?
I don't want to be raped by Tim Kennedy. Fuck that.
Well, you might. That may be the best thing that ever happens to you, Pi.
Fuck London. Let it burn.
There's some guys here that like the bottom half.
You guys see what I did there?
Yeah.
I went to Army Sniper School. I went to Marine Sniper School. I went to Special Forces Sniper School. I went to Special Operations Target Interdiction Course. I went to Aerial Sniper School. I spent a lot of time behind the gun.
I got a man crush on you, but why the fuck were you wearing that fucking skin-colored fucking G-string fucking thing? Why didn't you just go balls out?
The animal flesh that was supposed to be covering, my balls and cock.
I got some fucking words for that dickhole.
Narcissistic. Ethnocentric.
The other-
Cockhole. So what's up, guys? Happy Friday night.
Obviously, you guys are fucking less American than I am. And I'm from fucking motherfucking Thailand. Fucking flagship of the world, bitches. And I'm from Thailand, you motherfucker. Hey, motherfucker.
This site is so funny. It's like a kid having fucking cancer. It never gets old.
Like a 109-year-old.
Africa's not really a forgiving place if you don't know what you're doing.
Motherfuckers that live there have to worry about their 9-year-old kid getting eaten by a goddamn lion.
Mommy, they picked up!
You're going to run out of 9-year-olds.
Fucking your cardio's that good, you're just going to fucking fight for eternity against 9-year-olds?
Yeah, I'm just imagining myself at Hell's Gates, with like the Spartans. And they're like, what's your occupation? He's like, I'm a plumber. And this guy's like, what's your occupation? He's like, oh, I'm a builder. And he's like, Spartans, what's your occupation? And they're like, I'm just like looking down this alley with an infinite number of 9-year-olds, and I can't imagine a world that I'm not smiling. Paso de Robles.
And so he's walking by my Cadalto.
Initiate Google search.
So I went to this very rigorous, arduous course to become a male masseuse that services only men. If you search Timbo, Timbo, on Craigslist under services, you'll find a picture of me with a mustache, of course.
That is fucking awesome.
Besides that little thing, I also drew a Hitler mustache on an Obama poster. It's 1 part cocaine. It's 1 part just straight coffee grounds, and then a little bit of baking soda just mixed in there, and you snort it and then mix it with saline solution and take it intravenously. And you're pretty much good to go for a good 4 or 5 days.
You know what? We're even throwing garbage dog for free.
Disgusting and repulsive.
Raptor Mom, where are your pants right now?
Oh, they are off.
Tim's a raptor. Fuck honorary.
I eat like a gay bird.
How is the kindest way to tell someone that they're weird and you don't want them to be around loaded weapons?
Shots fired! Shots fired! Take cover!
Bow, bow. McNasty. McNasty. McNasty gets a sticker. Ice is on the job, man.
And then you shake his fucking wig, and then you shut the damn truck and shut the door of the truck, and then move on.
Touch him up if you got to. Are you picking up what I'm putting down, man? Handle his ass. And we handled his motherfucking ass, and we took all the snitching right out of him in the fucking squad bay.
Exactly. Everybody gets embarrassed when they get hit by ice.
Fuck, it was hot as balls.
It's hot. You lose. You lose. You lose, man. What did you put on Twitter earlier today about, shit?
We don't hire uggos. Fuck you, Sergeant Daisy. Take some time out of this show right now to put you and Nick Parmigiano on blast. That motherfucker flaked on me on Tuesday. He was supposed to show up. Fuck you, Nick Parmigiano. Kick him in the ball sack and run.
Katy Perry, God bless her. Beautiful, busty soul.
I do like her titties.
Well, fucking amen.
I was going to ask if you were aware of.
Our demographic is actually men, 25 to 34. The most common device used for accessing U.S. Army WTF are mobile devices. Right now, currently between June 17th and June 23rd, we have reached over 9,289,000 people with a page like every day about 6,000 per. Currently, we have approximately 765,000 views for all of our videos at U.S. Army WTF Productions.
What are we getting? What are we getting at here?
You owe 3 hours.
Go home, Raptor 6. You're drunk.
No, I am home. Correct me if I'm wrong, Redleg, but U.S. Army What the Fuck Moments page has almost close to 10 million followings, and thanks, Bobby, for being the second week no call, no show, you shitty intern.
Please won't you be my neighbor?
Quit embarrassing me, Jim.
Hi, television neighbor. I'm glad we're together again. And that's the end of Badger sucking Redleg's dick again. Would you be mine? Would you have your cock in my mouth?
Yeah, that's a 719. That's for Carson. Yeah, that's for Carson, you faggot. You want a dick pic? What's up? Are we in the air? Your fucking Nissan Sentra isn't a fucking race car. Faggot, you fucking moron. Read a book.
Me and Raptor 6 trying to have a moment. Do you mind?
Yeah, we're trying to fucking bond.
Hi, everybody. I'm back, and with me, the lovely and talented Mindy Robinson. Such a sweetheart, Mindy is.
Hola.
Hi. Good to talk to you again.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Yeah, it's been a while. How you doing? Do you come to this show often?
I'm yeah, couple of nights a week. So what's been going on since we last spoke? Did you ever get the band going?
The band, I know. I wanted to do the Bloody Cleaves. You know, I'm just not that musical, and my voice isn't that pleasant. So, I mean, I can do all the voiceover stuff. It's just the singing. I'm just not a good singer. That I think you need to be. I could probably just yell in tune. And I think that they just kind of fix all that stuff nowadays. But yeah, I've just been busy doing we did a lot of charity stuff this month for the vets, and a lot of them, you know, the fights and the rides and stuff like that. And now we're just kind of prepping for the holidays.
The holidays.
Oh man, I love food so much.
Oh my God, I do too. How was Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was good. We went to see Randy's family out in Seattle. It was rainy every day. Can you believe it?
In Seattle?
Every day.
Get out of here.
Yeah, it's weird. I know. It's so weird. So atypical.
Don't you have a movie coming out in 2017?
I have a lot of movies coming out. You know, I spent a lot of time just doing anything on my table, and I've been picky the last 2 years. But there's just so many things that have kind of come out on one. I did another pro-military movie, an action drama called Checkpoint, and that should be out this spring. It's got Bill Goldberg in it. He's kind of my partner in crime in it, and William Forsythe, and you know, Kenny Johnson. A lot of really cool people, and it was a lot of fun to do. And we kill terrorists. I mean, how much more fun is that?
Oh, well, there you go. I mean, that's a good enough reason for me to go watch it. That and, you know, the fact that you're in it.
Right? I mean, to kill terrorists on U.S. soil. Oh, it was awesome.
You know, I learned something today. The Sexy and I Know It video. I mean, like, you're in that.
Yes.
I've seen that video a couple of times, but I guess I was too busy looking at the dude's junk bouncing around in that Speedo to notice that you're in that video.
I am. And you know, it's right where the music slows down, and I had a necklace with my name on it. It said Mindy. Like, it was just one of those things where, you know, I've been friends with those guys for a while. They're really awesome. I've done a few of their videos, and, you know, and they've done other TV shows and stuff. I've tagged along. I was just supposed to show up and hang out with them. And I was showing up at Venice Beach, which is already crazy. And, you know, my buddy Q, he's like, do you see us? I'm like, no, I don't see you. You don't see us. I don't see you. And then sure as shit, here they come. And they're glitter leopard songs. And, you know, the song, I remember hearing the song when, you know, it wasn't really on the radio yet. And I'm like, this is a good song. Like, there's just something about it that just makes you want to dance. Like, and they ended up throwing me in there and using me for that one scene. And man, you couldn't escape that song that summer. It was everywhere.
Right. It's really
you know,
catchy.
People I went to high school with are like, what are you doing in this? How are you in this video right now? Like, all over the world. Like, Istanbul would be playing, like, on a giant screen. And people were like, Mindy? Like, it was just the weirdest thing.
There's Mindy.
I don't know. It was cool. I mean, it was the first thing I did to actually air. It was that video out of everything I've done. Because movies take a while. Movies can take a year or two to come out. But that thing was, like, pretty immediate. And every time I hear it, it just cheers me up. They're good guys, and I really like their music, so that doesn't hurt either.
I know that you're in Sharknado: The Fourth Awakens.
Yes. I've done a lot of movies for those people, and I haven't quite done the shark ones yet. And I ended up, you know, being the first person to die, and ended up being in all the commercials, and it's pretty gruesome. When you're the first person to die, you should know, like, the whole audience, like, oh, God damn, like, I just, like, destroy it, you know what I mean?
Is the list...
It's a proud moment. I've always wanted to die by a shark, so...
well, you got your wish. Is the list of movies in which you have not died shorter or longer than the movies where you've actually made it to the credits?
I have made it more times than you would think. You know, it was kind of weird. Like, I think I did Haunting of Whaley House. I'm only in there for one scene. It was the first film I ever did that came out. It came out to Redbox and all that stuff.
2012.
And yeah, and so I can ruin the end for you. I show up, but it's a haunted ass looking house, and I'm like, this is haunted. I'm not doing. You know, I'm the blonde. I'm the busty blonde. It's just one funny scene, and I'm like, this looks like the set of Thriller. Like I was like, this number, and I just refuse to stay there, and I leave. And I'm like the only one that I think lives in the entire movie. Like, it was like, it created this like vortex in the space-time continuum where the bimbo blonde shows up, goes, fuck this, and leaves. Because that's what real people would do. They'd be like, fuck this, and I'm going to leave, and so I leave the guy there, and it was just funny. He dies pretty much immediately as soon as I leave.
There's
The place was haunted as hell,
And you made it. There's a movie called Helen Keller Had a Pit Bull. This sounds like something that Ross Patterson would have a hand in.
What? It kind of does sound like it might be the sequel, to Helen Keller and the Night Wolves. But it's actually like a drama, like a pretty serious drama some guy put together, kind of as like a fuck you for Hollywood. And I cried during that movie. It was really good. I mean, my part was just, this fun little part I showed up like a couple of days to do. And we actually changed, it's been really cool. I must say that I've been lucky enough to improv and do extra things, so like even if I had a dinky scene, I'm like, let's make it cooler. Like, and it ends up being something cooler. And that was one of those films where instead of me being like the bimbo, I was playing a reality star. Instead of me just like being the typical one, I turn on the guy that brought me there and I think he's a douche. And, it was just really cool. But yeah, right? It's actually a good movie. Like, it's a good watch. It's not in like, special effects wise or anything, but it was actually a pretty cool, touching movie.
I gotta get.
It doesn't sound like it would be, right?
Like, I really gotta spend a little more time watching movies and stuff. I don't get a whole lot of time to do that, and I'm missing out. But I'm looking at this list. I'm like, wow, Mindy's really in a lot of stuff.
As a character actor, and they don't usually make the blonde the lead. So I could go in and work on a movie a few days or one day. And if the movie didn't make it, the movie didn't make it. I didn't put all my eggs in that basket. I just did everything on my table. Like, what do you want me to be? You want me to be a ninja? I got this. I play a samurai in a movie. I mean, a Japanese samurai. There's nothing really? I'd probably, you know what I mean? I like the challenge. I don't think I'm as stereotyped as people give me credit for. I'm not always playing the bimbo in a movie. But even when I think like I'm playing a bimbo, like even in Range 15, she's not that dumb. You know what I mean? She's still human. She's just, being Eliza. And I don't know. I like to make the characters believable, even if they're doing really unbelievable things. I want people to understand why they're doing it and kind of enjoy it, even if it's ridiculous.
I think that's the role that the majority of at least my listening audience knows you for, is playing Eliza in Range 15.
It's Eliza. Thank you. You remember it. It's not Beatrice or...
Yeah.
The whole movie. Yeah, Ross brought me on that, and it was. I think we were trying to just get 100,000 at the time to do the movie, and it got bigger and bigger, and it was really cool to see the support. And as an actor, it was the only thing I've done that people knew about it before it was out. Because unless it's a sequel, no one knows what the hell you're like. Oh, what are you working on? Why even tell you? Because you're not going to know what I'm talking about. It's not going to be out for like a year and a half. They're probably going to change the name. You don't know what I'm talking about, but people knew it, and a lot of military guys would come up to me. And just like, oh, I can't wait to see it stuff. I'm like, cool. Like that was really cool, and I'm happy to be part of it. Honestly, it was right up my alley, the humor and everything like that. Everyone kept saying like, didn't the boys gross you out and stuff? I'm like, shit, I think that was worse.
I was about to say, they obviously have not had an opportunity to sit down and talk to you, as I have. You made me blush in Colorado. I was like, oh my God.
No, I'm awful.
When we started talking about the bloody queefs.
The entire time because it was so loud. We didn't know what the band was playing.
Oh yeah, we did have to yell a lot.
Right?
I had
it could be louder.
I had Ross on the show Friday.
Yeah, how'd it go?
Yeah, Ross is Ross. That dude is he's something else. He was a little
like my mom when she talks about me. I can't tell if it's good or bad. What do you mean?
He was because I talked to him at the Freedom On Festival. Well, you were sitting right there when I talked to Ross, and I was like, because that's the first time I'd ever spoken to Ross, and it was a double whammy for me because usually when I talk to people, it's like we're doing now. You're wherever you are, and I'm here. And so the first time I ever got to speak to Ross Patterson was in a face-to-face interview. And not only is Ross, he's also extremely animated and passionate about everything he says. And he's one of those people who, when you start talking, he makes almost uncomfortable eye contact with you and leans in to to focus his attention on you when you talk. And it was kind of, I mean, I don't want to say intimidating, but I'm not used to people like being that focused on what I'm saying. They're like, oh, this guy's just a radio host and, you know, he's talking out of his ass. And Ross seemed like he was genuinely interested in what I was saying. So it kind of caught me off guard.
Well, I mean, I don't. You've probably been talking to some douches, I guess. But no, like Ross is cool. He's a good guy. You know what I mean? He's a good guy, and all the guys are good guys. And I don't know. I think we're just ourselves in many ways. We're probably not too far from the characters we play. I don't know if you noticed.
I did.
There's a little Van de Ham in Ross for sure.
Absolutely.
It's there.
I don't. I don't want people to get the wrong idea that where I felt like Ross is uncomfortable, made me uncomfortable, or is a weirdo. It's just not what I was.
He's just intense. He's trying
there
to
you go.
Intense.
Intense. That's a good word for it. He's very intense.
Which is better than most of the people in this town. Well, you know what I mean. Half the time they're just waiting to talk themselves, or you know, Hollywood could be.
But I don't think I had a bad interview at all in Colorado. But you know, we talked to you, we talked to Matt, we talked to Rocco, we talked to Ross. I don't think we got to talk to JT. He was kind of busy.
Yeah, it did get loud. I know the band started. It was a really cool night.
It was.
From what I remember.
I had a great time.
Yeah, it was good to see everyone, because I've been kind of missing out on a lot of the events. They were East Coast and stuff like that, and I don't know if you've seen my movies, but I can't afford to fly out everywhere. You know, and this one wasn't far. It was like an hour flight, and you know, I kind of wanted to see the crew. I hadn't really seen them since the premiere, so it was really cool to see everyone and to see the fans and that kind of stuff. And you know, I don't know, it's cool. I don't know. That's why I do it. Like I like that part of it. You know, interacting with people and cheering them up. I like entertaining people. If I can make them laugh and smile, then I'm happy.
Sure. Yeah.
You know,
you're just a sweetheart. That's all that is.
I'm something. I don't know if I'm a sweetheart. I'm pretty gross. Cause
our producer told me that you were recently in my neck of the woods. I'm in the Memphis, Tennessee area. I think you were out this way with Randy.
Yeah, Randy's son fought for Bellator. So we were out in Memphis for that. And I hadn't been to Memphis before, and I've been to a lot of places. We had more time to spend, but we had some good food, and you know, we always have a good time no matter where we go. It's always a good time, and you know, that's life. You should have fun, even if it's stuck in an airport. I'm going to make it interesting, I promise. I have an awful sense of humor. But yeah, I like Memphis. I like Nashville. We might go back to Nashville for New Year's. We're thinking about it.
Well, you know, of the two, Nashville's probably the better city. Memphis.
Dude, yeah, I love Nashville. We're rednecks, so we like the music and everything.
Memphis has got good food, but that's about all Memphis has got going for it. So I wanted to ask you, because I know that you've got your ear to the ground when it comes to the UFC. What did you think about Tim Kennedy doing all this preparation to fight Rashad Evans, and then Evans not being able to fight because of quote medical reasons?
What were the medical reasons? Did they say?
They didn't say, and it kind of almost sounded like a cop out.
It can be. You know, it's tough to tell. I don't know. I mean, it could be anything. You don't want to push a fighter and have them get injured or die, you know, but at the same time, they could just, you know, it's an excuse too. I think you'd have to give a better reason than just a medical excuse. And that could be anything. It could be diarrhea.
Well, yeah. I never did see.
I'm waiting for the day someone just shits himself in the ring. That'd be awesome.
Has that not happened yet?
Awful.
That you know of?
What?
Has that not happened yet that you know of?
I don't think it's like a major fight. I know I've seen people throw up. Like, I've been to enough live fights. As soon as they come to, they go, I don't know why you fucking ate it all. I mean, you get punched in the stomach. Seems like a dumbass idea. Right?
Yeah. Well, there's a prevailing theory here that Evans was afraid to fight Tim. And
so why would he ever think to fight in the first place? It seems like, I don't know.
I had Tim on the show the Monday before he was scheduled to fight, and we talked about it, and Tim's really excited to be back in the octagon, and he was really looking forward to this fight, and he'd been training, and he talked to me about how much he wanted to A, get something to eat, and B, to be able to have sex with his wife. And until the fight happened, he was able to do neither of those things. And then
I don't see why he couldn't have sex with his wife.
Well, yeah, I think he was just being dramatic.
Yeah.
But then it fell
Sounds
through.
like a girl excuse. I can't.
I can't. I totally got to fight this dude this weekend.
Yeah, so weird. I mean, he might not feel like it. That's different. But there's no reason, no medical reason to not do that. Whatever.
But I thought maybe that you'd been following that whole debacle. And he's on a card.
Been following that. Usually, I'm just standing there and people are talking to Randy about fighting. Sometimes I might zone out.
Got it. Because you're busy with all these.
He answers the same questions over and over again. I have to come up with like a new fucked up answer every time. Like that's how I am. I don't want to be like sensible. No, I just get really creative. I can't tell the same story twice. I have to I don't know.
Well, I heard you say earlier that like you don't get cast in lead roles of movies, but what's the bitch that cried wolf?
Yeah, I mean, I've been lead in an ensemble. I've been in the lead. It's just not as common for some reason.
What's the bitch that cried wolf?
The comedies are male driven. And I'm just supporting. I'm doing something like that, or that's just the way it is. But I'm working on producing my own stuff too now, so I can actually, I've seen people have money and then their script sucks. It's like I want to make something good and I want to take something to the next level. And I think the way to do that is to just write and produce and put my friends in movies, basically.
Well, it says you had the lead role in The Bitch That Cried Wolf.
I did.
That's one that you.
I thought I got frostbite from that movie. That was a little scary.
What's the movie about?
Let's see. So I somehow I think I ended up with money from these goons, and they're after me, and they go after my friends and also their stuff, and I'm just murdering them. Like I just what I look like. I'm me, but I get just so raged up that I believe I'm turning into a monster and cannibalizing them.
Oh my God. You do a lot of horror stuff.
For fact as we shot that and everything, we shot that in Minnesota. I actually ended up seeing it. I'm like, it's not bad. When you do things sometimes and you're being rushed and you're like, I don't know about this, especially when you're the lead and you're carrying everything. I had an issue with one of the actors didn't know any of her lines, none of them, not a single fucking one, nothing. And it was a whole explanative part. So I remember just being like, fuck, this is going to suck. But it actually wasn't too bad. And I liked the story, and I liked how it kind of turned out. And it was my first time being a lead, that in a blood story, my first time being lead. And that's different. When you're in every scene, when you're there, you're setting an example to everyone else on set. You know what I mean? About, no, let's get through this. Let's work through this shot. You don't want to complain. People are looking up to you,
Do you do...
Even if I'm not, famous, I'm usually the most experienced person on an indie. So, that, they're looking for...
That makes sense.
It's just about being a team player, and those were good lessons. It was a really interesting movie. I did get to eat people. So.
Did you try to lean towards the horror or gore, the horror genre, the blood and gore type stuff? I kind of see a theme here.
Well, I'm a comedic actor. I usually that's what I'm like. I'm a comedic actor, but once you start earning credits and getting your name, you're gonna be auditioning for actions and dramas, and horror films are just so big in independent film. They're like half of what gets put out. So the chances of me ending up on one are pretty high. So it's like the part of it's comedy, which is what I'm usually doing, but then there's so many horrors, and because you can do that on a budget. You can do that without named actors. You know what I mean? People kind of get thrown off if they recognize people too much. And it's still fun. You know what I mean? You're still playing make-believe, and I've gotten to see some cool costumes, and killing people is always fun. Probably more fun than I think it should be, but, I'm a weirdo, so.
But you're our favorite weirdo.
Thank you.
Mindy, do you have time to stick around for a few minutes? I've got the break to do here.
Sure.
Okay. We're going to take a break, everybody. We'll come back. We'll talk to Mindy some more. I got some more questions I'd like to ask you.
Okay, you can ask me.
I'll ask you. Don't go anywhere, everybody. We'll be back in a few minutes right here on WTF Nation Radio. I gotta piss. Dude, I gotta piss so bad.
Don't go pee.
Hey, do you want to do a sword fight? I got to piss too. You want to do a sword fight?
You gotta go pee-pee?
I seriously have to go. I am about to fucking explode.
Oh, man. You know, I thought I just had to go take a piss, but that turned into a big deal.
It turned into a deuce?
Guys.
What?
Yeah?
Hey, Jack.
I'm going to shit my pants. Can I go now?
You got to stay. And you got to pull up your cam, though.
Shit my pants.
I don't know anybody shitting their pants.
Thank you so much. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to run to the bathroom. I'm going to send Raptor Mama a text to let her know I'm okay because I'm about to shit my brains out and I'd love to come back on.
Do you have a folder that's labeled with like a poop emoji? It might be in that one.
I haven't had any seafood recently, but I suspect this is food poisoning.
And get some fresh meat in here.
Oh, okay. There.
Thanks. That's what Six thinks about it.
Yeah, he's pissing.
Chops? Christ, he missed.
That was a lot of pissing. I really wanted to have a smooth, like, even flow here. I've seen you, Moose. You're a good-looking dude. I'd totally pee in your butt. That's not it.
What is this, high school?
That's disgusting. You know, see, touching yourself, that's another thing you can get away with on radio.
Dude, like, I can totally get away with this. I'm going to shoot this dude.
Hit me! You know,
$20 to the first listener to punch Cos in the fucking dick.
How you doing, Cos?
Hey, you know what, Pie? I got your $20, and I'll raise another $20 to the next listener that punches Redleg in the dick.
$20 to punch Raptor Mom in China.
Oh, fucking shit. Do you secretly hate me?
Yes.
Thinking about punching Raptor Mom in the China. Raptor Mom, you gotta
Take
get
a video of it.
You're gonna get punched into China so much.
Is that like punching the donut as Badger was talking about, except for punching the China?
What we should do is start an Indiegogo, and depending on how much you pledge, we get to see. So, like maybe $5 to punch Raptor Mom in the China.
Motherfucker!
When people like pledge this shit, you actually see what they're pledging for. So then we can take all this money and say, okay, well, the most amount of money was donated to fucking hoof Raptor Mom's China.
Punt Raptor Mom in the pudding hole.